Today's lesson is on finding cube roots. So square roots, we're trying to figure out what number squared would equal that radicand. Well, here it's what number cubed is going to equal that radicand. So a cubed root is a number that when multiplied by itself and then multiplied by itself again equals the number. So a perfect cube is just like a perfect square. That number can be written as the cube of an integer. So your symbol for cubed root is, it looks just like the square root, except you put that little 3 in the radical. So finding a cubed root. So in letter A, it says, I want the cubed root of 8. Okay, so since 2 times 2 times 2, so 2 cubed is 8, that means the cubed root of 8 is the same thing as the cubed root of 2 cubed. So if you're cubing something and then cube rooting it, those are inverses. So it's going to bring you down to 2. The cubed root of negative 27. Now, you cannot have a square root of a negative number because nothing times itself will give you a negative value under the radical. But the cubed root of a negative number, that is possible because negative 3 cubed is the same thing as negative 27. So the cubed root of negative 27 is the same thing as the cubed root of negative 3 cubed, which gives you negative 3. And then the same concept goes with a fraction under that radical sign. The cubed root of 1 over 64 is the same thing as 1/4 cubed. So the cubed root of 1/4 cubed is 1/4. So find the following cube roots. Well, number 1 is pretty easy since it is letter A. So the cubed root of 8 is the same thing as 2 cubed. So the cubed root of 8 is 2 cubed, cubed root of 2 cubed, which is 2. So pause the video, try to figure out what number times itself again is going to give you these radicands. So the cubed root of negative 125 is the same thing as having negative 5 cubed, and then take the cube root of that, therefore it is negative 5. The cubed root of 27 over 1,000 is 3/10. So the next piece, we're going to evaluate expressions using cube roots. It's the same exact thing as when we evaluate an expression using a square root. You do that cubed root first, and then if you have a value stuck against it, it means to multiply it. So if you look at these two examples, it shows us that we're going to take the cubed root of negative 216, and that's going to give you negative 6. So you want 2 cubed root of negative 216, which is 2 times negative 6, and then subtract 3 from that. So now we're going to follow PEMDAS here, and we'll get negative 12 minus 3, which is negative 15. In letter B, we're actually negating ourselves here. So we're taking the cube root of 125 and then cubing it. So we're literally just going to say, okay, well, cube root of 125 is 5, and then 5 cubed is 125. So it brings us right back to that 125. Anytime you have those inverses, it takes you right back to whatever that number under the radical is. So then you do the 125 plus the 21, you get 146. So pause the video, take a moment, and figure out these next couple. So for these, in number 1, you're going to get 10. Number 2 is going to be negative 24, and number 3 is going to be 21. Find the edge length of a baseball display case in the shape of a cube with a volume of 125 inches cubed. The formula for the volume is side cubed, because the formula for the volume of any rectangular prism is going to be length times width times height. Well, when you have a cube, you've got squares all around, so it's side times side times side. So you substitute in what you know, and since you have 125 equals side cubed, well, the inverse of cubing something is to cube root it, so you're going to get the cubed root of 125, which is 5. So the volume of a music box that's in the shape of a cube is 512 centimeters cubed. Find the edge length of the cube. So again, you're going to substitute in what you know. You know 512 is the, is the volume, so 512 is the volume, which is the same thing as side cubed. So you're going to cube root both sides. So cube root and cube root, both sides there. So the cubed root of s cubed is going to give you s. The cube root of 512 is going to give you 8. So each side is going to be 8 centimeters. On your calculators, you have a cubed root. You have the option to do it'll probably look like this. And if you push that button, it's going to tell you, all right, well, what root do you want? And you want to do a 3, a cubed root of whatever the value is.